Brand new, bold, brash, or as the company claims, ferocious. The new 6th generation Hyundai Verna roars back into the compact sedan segment to reassert its once strong position. Hyundai says it will double sales of the last car. That shouldn't be difficult since it had started to kind of disappear from the buyer's mind anyway. So, can this new Verna defeat the Honda City, Skoda Slavia and Volkswagen Virtus?
In the recent past, the Hyundai Motor Group has been really killing it on design. All the brands have really been giving us some very sexy looking vehicles. And from the Hyundai brand itself, we've heard things like parametric pixel, sensuous sportiness, and there is the seamless horizon. Lots of these nice design terms. On the Verna, you get everything.
Yeah, everything, quite literally. There's a lot going on here. You get all of that and more. It's different, all right, and will stand out.
All right, so let's get to that seamless horizon first. We've seen it on the Staria globally, on the Sonata facelift, and on the Kona as well. None of those cars exist in our market, but we finally got it. The nice end-to-end light. You might like it, you might not, but it's there. But you know what? That's only when the car is lit up at night. So when you actually have it in the daytime, that's when the DRLs are only this section and this section. So the middle bar kind of goes off. And you know what, on the EX version, which is the base variant, you don't get that DRL at all. So, well, the good news is out of the 5 variants, get it. Massive new Hyundai logo. That's part of the global identity we are seeing. At the top end, you get the LED headlamp cluster. Otherwise, of course, you have the projectors. And there's lots of cuts and angles on that front grille in keeping with parametric. All right, let's talk about the parametric part in greater detail because you see so much of it all over the car. It is kind of exaggerated, especially back here. I mean, there's a lot going on over here, especially having it in 2 colors. Maybe it's a bit of an overkill. The coupe-like roofline though, that's a new addition and it does enhance the nice swoopy design on the side. But the proportion kind of starts to go a little bit off here because you've got this massive amount of muscle back here. Again, parametric, you're seeing all these cuts at different angles and some really inexplicable giant SUV-like handles. I don't get that. Nice sleek handles kind of close to the car's surface would have been so much nicer. But that's the part which I think really screams incongruous. All right, the tail light. Now, you saw this with the Venue facelift and you're starting to see it with Tucson and all these other cars. The end-to-end connected tail light. Expect that on every Hyundai going forward, and the H as well. You've got this vertical line along with the horizontal. That's part of the signature now, if you will. And then you've got the interesting use of LED for the brake light because it just lights up like little bullets. That's kind of nicely done.
So there's a lot, but maybe something for everyone. Tell us what you think of that design in the comments below. Inside, things aren't that polarizing, but we'll get there. Let's get this car on the road first. The Verna gets petrol engines only. Both are 1.5 litre and one of them is the updated new turbo.
This one, the 1.5, this is the first car in India on the entire Hyundai range to get this new engine, and it is definitely a lot more fun. The change is very obvious. The focus on performance is very obvious. Honestly, I didn't expect that. And you know what? I'm driving in eco mode. So, let me get to sport mode. So the change between those 3 drive modes is more apparent at lower speeds, more so in city driving, because out here on the highway at over 100 kilometers per hour, you don't find it's very perceptible because honestly, the turbo has been tuned really nicely. I am absolutely loving the low and mid-range torque that it gives you, and that's also nice in the city conditions because before we came onto the highway, I was managing to go through traffic without a whole lot of gear changing.
Both engines get the 6-speed manual. The turbo also has the 7-speed dual clutch auto as the option. Claimed mileage on both is healthy.
There's 2 things that really shine on this car for me. Of course, the engine's really nice, but it's the gearbox. It's been married well, it's been very nicely tuned. It is actually the fun element. This 6-speed manual has been absolutely a pleasure to drive today. And the other thing that I'm really liking, the suspension tuning. Oh yes, the ride quality and the way the car corners. Great work on the suspension. Totally not what you expect on a Hyundai. Certainly not on a Hyundai sedan.
The turbo variant gets different shock absorbers, and so its suspension is a bit stiffer as compared to the naturally aspirated MPI variants. The 1.5 MPI has an IVT auto option too. Driving on the freshly rolled Delhi-Mumbai expressway helped gauge the Verna quite well. I also managed to get time on the DCT automatic, which was also fun and has a few extras like an electronic parking brake, smart cruise control, and rear disc brakes.
The other thing that's really surprised me and impressed me, NVH levels. Noise, vibration, harshness. Again, something you would not expect. Hardly any wind noise, even at really fast speeds, and hardly any road noise as well. Certainly no vibrations.
The Verna also has Hyundai Smart Sense.
The other thing this car has is ADAS, a first for the Verna, and it is very effective. I'm on a great highway with some fantastic lane markings and, well, a lot better infrastructure than what we have been used to. It has been working spot on, whether it was the lane keep assist or even the collision avoidance.
The ADAS functions are only available on the automatic SXO variant of the naturally aspirated MPI, while both the transmission options of that top variant get it on the turbo. Hyundai claims good structural crash capability on the Verna. The car also gets 30 safety features as standard, including 6 airbags, reverse parking sensors, automatic headlamps, 3-point seat belts for all passengers, seatbelt reminders for all seats too, and ISOFIX child seat anchors. In addition, higher variants get parking sensors up front, reverse camera, tire pressure monitoring, auto dimming inside rearview mirror, and more. Of course, we still don't have any global NCAP crash tests done on this new model.
So the dual screens inside, they kind of angle towards the driver, and you've got more space in the rear. But these are things I'm going to let Pratik tell you, because I've still got the turbo with me. I still want to get it on the road for a little bit longer.
Now, interestingly, the cabin of both the versions of this Verna are slightly different than each other. So what you get with the petrol turbo version of the car is an all black theme with red accents spread across the cabin. So this is a very familiar sight that we've seen with the N-line package of the car as well, that you get with the i20 as well as with the Venue. With the naturally aspirated version, although you get a dual tone treatment that is retained from the previous version of the Verna. So let's speak about the overall theme and the feel of the car. What you get is a driver-oriented single panel for the infotainment and the instrument cluster. So this obviously gives you a better reach for the screen, which obviously is a 10.25-inch screen, which is better than the 8-inch screen that you get on the previous version. This is quite smooth. We haven't tested this properly, so we'll get to that very soon. But overall, I really like how Hyundai has given this a very sporty touch, especially to the turbo version of the car. And I also want to mention about the ambient lighting that Hyundai has given with the Verna. So it of course stretches from the width of the cabin, but interestingly, it is also added to the door panels of the car now. So at the side, if you see, you've got a nice cut and crease that is stretching towards the end of the door panel, and this entire thing gets the ambient lighting treatment. Let's talk about the steering wheel as well. So there's a difference. With the turbo version, you get this rounded steering wheel. It has a nice firm grip, while the naturally aspirated version of the Verna gets a flat bottom steering wheel, which I feel should have been given to this version of the car because it's more sporty. The naturally aspirated version could have been done with the normal, this kind of a steering wheel, but this one should have probably got the flat bottom version. Apart from that, what has also changed on the steering wheel is that the audio control is now on the right side of the steering wheel, while your ADAS functions and that button comes on the left side. What we typically see in the Hyundai cars is that the audio switches are on the left, but that is now swapped to the right.
A lot of these features are only at the top end, of course. The lower variants still get the 8-inch touchscreen while the base variant gets none. The digital cluster is standard on all except the one base variant. The Verna sits on a highly modified version of the previous K2 platform, but now boasts a 95mm longer wheelbase than before, while also being wider and longer. So finally, there's more space for rear passengers. What also counts is the cushioning of the seats and comfort they provide. There's also generous knee room. Same goes for the boot space, which has grown to 528 litres from the earlier 480 litres. What do you think of the cabin? Tell us in the comments below. So that then is the new Hyundai Verna. It is a massive improvement, brings a great amount of excitement and equipment to the compact sedan segment. It ditches diesel and does not bring anything game-changing like a hybrid, but does set new benchmarks in tech, cabin, and performance terms.